How you guys doing? Welcome back to Offline Games. I'm Michael. How you guys doing today? This is basically a video of me. Last time I said in my introduction video that I would go over individual games that I'd seen in the Euro Gamer when I filmed it, 2012 in Euro Gamer this year. But most of those games are coming out within a few weeks, so there's going to be a lot of gameplay and a lot of footage from those games if I can get my hands on them. If I can't, then it's going to be all over the internet anyway. So I just want to make a sort of brief video which I was meant to send out or post after the footage and after I had the interviews with some of the gamers at the Euro Gamer. But as it is with my editing suite and uploading them on YouTube, it's taken a little bit more time than I thought I would have taken. So this video is a little bit late because the Euro Gamer has been, what, 2 or 3 weeks previous. But at the same time, I just want to kind of go over to a very brief thought, I suppose, of what games were very interesting I seen at the show, because there were so many games shown at the show this year, but there was a few standout games that I am really looking forward to playing. And the first game that I'll start from when I walked into the show. The first game that I seen was because I went on the Thursday and I went back on the Sunday. The Thursday I seen it, but I didn't pay much attention to the game, and I wish I had. Now I went back on the Sunday and I thought, well, I'm going to check that game out. And the game is called The Cave by Double Fine. And if you know their previous games, Stacking, what else we got? Awesome Noughts and that sort of thing. Anyway, some of their previous games are very, very good. They're very unusual, and the game that I seen was called The Cave, and it is basically a game where you've got 7 or 8 characters that you pick from the screen, and you pick 3 of those characters, and they range from being a knight and shining armor. They range for 2 little twins, and there's a character that had jetpack sort of boots on, a scientist. Now I don't know if these characters have individual powers that they can use or skills they can use later on in the game, but so far that when I played The Cave, yeah, you're controlling 3 characters, but they all did the same sort of moves. You can use your character to pick up a crowbar, smash through a door, or you can use one character to, I don't know, turn a wheel, that sort of thing. So the premise of the game, which was very interesting for me, was you go down this cave, and there's this gift shop owner, and he's got no gifts, he's got no artifacts, and he wants you to go and search for these artifacts, bring them back to him, so he can get tourists to come and visit his tourist cave shop thing. So you've got to use your characters, and the way that you use your characters is very interesting because you use them to solve puzzles. Now the demo that I played, the level that I played, you can also play the game co-op, is what I've seen. I don't know any more options on that factor. So, but single player, you control 3 characters, and you move them individually. You can't select all 3 and move them at once. So you move them through this cave, and one character picks up a crowbar, smashes through like a wooden door or something that's in the way, jump. It's a side-scrolling platformer. And I mean, the visuals are stunning in this game. It's going to be released in 2013 at some point on XBLA and the PSN store as well as PC, which is a shame because I thought it was coming this year, because I was so stoked to get my hands on this game. But so you go through this cave, and you jump around, and you sort of go down through the cave, and the cave itself is all glistening with blue and purple sort of diamonds in the rocks or something. The colours are very, very kind of bright and sort of very soft, and it's quite cartoony, but the graphics are very beautiful in their way, and the soft lighting that they've used through the cave is very, very stunning. And the characters themselves are quite over the top. You've got one who've got like a hillbilly, a yokel, so they're quite animated. And so you go through the cave, and then you come across puzzles you come across this well, but there's no handle, so you have to find the handle. So you have to use one of your characters to run back to find the handle, to then come up to use the handle, but then you've got to get a well, you've got to find a bucket, so you go and use the other character to find a bucket to come back to get water, and then you come across this puzzle where there's this circuit board, but in order to use the circuit board, or to break the circuit board or something, I can't remember what it was, you use the well, the bucket of water, to pour over the circuit board. It starts crackling, then it starts to I think you find another piece to fix the circuit board. So you've got to flick, I think it was RB that I was using the Xbox, to change characters, to move them, to try and find one. So you've got 3 characters in different places at once. And the way that the level was, you come across this spike eventually in this cave, the spike sticking out of the ground. And the spike, there's this monster, but you've got to use your character to try and entice the monster onto the spike. So you've got to then, there's vending machines, so you use one character to go down to the vending machine, grab food, come back up, try and fix the well, try and fix the little circuit board, and then that's connected to a crane. Then you find this giant hot dog, throw the hot dog onto the spike, that entices the monster to come along, grab the hot dog, then you've got to switch to one of your characters that are up at the top near the circuit board, to switch the circuit board quickly to just in time for the monster to grab the sausage. Then the crane comes down, picks up the monster, and then you all group 3 of your characters and move on. It was such an interesting and very, very varied game in puzzles that it made you think with every step. So that was a really good, interesting game. So I'd recommend checking that out online. And what else was it? Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now I played Need for Speed Most Wanted on the old Xbox, and then when it was released on sort of more polished whatever on the Xbox 360 when it came out. That game for me, I played to death. I got every achievement. I loved that game. That was one of the best Need for Speed games I played, period. So I got my hands on the Need for Speed Most Wanted from the Criterion, which are famed for the Burnout series, and we played a checkpoint race and race where to escape the police. Now this game is like watching an action film or something, maybe like Furious 5 or something, where it's so actiony, the cars are so fast, they're very arcade. There's things going on, there's police around, there's the checkpoint race that we did. There's the opponents try and ram you off the road. You've got traffic coming one way, traffic coming the other way. You've got to dodge in and out. You're speeding, you're boosting through this massive city. You go across bridges and then go around, slide around corners. It's mental, but I loved it, and I know full well I will just play that game to death like the first Most Wanted. It was amazing. And the way that if you do dodge the characters, you dodge the police, you can drive through petrol stations, and that changes the colour of your car and repairs your car as well. And there are hiding spots, like you drive under parking lots and stuff to avoid the police. So that game is very, very good. If you were into driving, into action driving games, arcade games, it's got an open city. I think you're going to enjoy that game. And also keeping on the driving theme, I had my hands on Forza Horizon. Again, the demo's out now, but when I played it, pretty much I'm a massive fan of Forza, from all the way from the first one to number 4. And I'm glad this game, it's different, but it's also very good, very true to the roots of Forza. So if you are skeptical, going, oh, they've made an open world game, oh, hang on, it's a different company that are working alongside the Forza team. Turn 10. So it's an open world. Again, very similar to Need for Speed, but you've got back canyons of America. It's set in this racing event that's quite sort of kind of Ibiza-ish. You've got the pumping music, the great music. You've got the you've got the sort of set different races that you can do across country. Checkpoints you can race against helicopters and planes, try and beat the distance. So that was interesting, but also it was true to its form in the sense that they kept the cars, the handling and the upgrades is the same as Forza. So it's a very realistic feel to the cars. But you've got the visual, it's stunning again. The game looks very, very good, and it's 60 frames per second non-stop. Doesn't matter what's going on the screen. Whether it's jam-packed or you're just cruising, it's a solid frame rate. Online, in terms of multiplayer, you can come across if people are driving around the world, you can flash them. You can sort of set up races that way. I don't know what other multiplayer modes they're going to be, whether there's going to be set races or checkpoint races or whatever. I'm not too sure until the game comes out. There are a few reviews out there, but for me, I want to get my hands on the game, then I'll make my own review in essence of what I've played. There is Halo 4 again. Halo 4, if you're a massive fan of Halo 4, it was very good. I played multiplayer. Deathmatch. They've changed a few tweaks with the guns. I'm a massive fan of Halo, but they've sort of added in where you get, in essence, Call of Duty-ish in terms of you can get kill streaks, and within those certain kill streaks, you get given a different weapon or a choice of, you either want a massive rocket launcher, or you want a machine gun, or you want orbital drop missile or something like that. So it's kind of gone down that route, but the essence is still Halo. I only had a quick go on the deathmatch. But what I've played is the controls are pretty much standard for a Halo game. Again, there's a few more weapons, new weapons thrown in, a few more sort of kill streak wise things, but fans of Halo don't have to worry about, oh, have they changed this, have they changed that? No, they've only tweaked and made things, in my opinion, better. So it's going to be a better game. It's more enjoyable, I think, this time round. And briefly, what else did I see? Didn't get my hands on Black Ops simply because the queue was so long. Doesn't matter what time of day you went, it was just too long. So I thought, well, it's coming out in a few weeks, you may as well just wait. Medal of Honor again, demo's out now, but got my hands on it back in the show. Mixed reviews, mixed opinions in my... I mean, throw me any military shooter, I'm a happy bunny, to be honest. But it didn't really bring anything different. The visuals, it's running on the Frostbite engine, but we didn't really see it. Maybe it's that level they didn't quite. It didn't, I don't know, bring all the tools of the trade to that level. It was a night level, and it's quite choppy in places. It wasn't the best, but then it is still a demo. The full game isn't released yet, so. But I mean, the gun handling fine, and there's a lot of tweaks. You can upgrade your guns in so many ways. There's that part of it is fine, and the controls are fine. And we played the demos out now. Is basically you protect three different sort of zones, containers, and the other team has to place a bomb on the container to blow them up while you protect them. Pretty standard stuff for any military shooter. But again, I'd have to play the game more, because I know I'm going to love Black Ops 2. Inside out, back to front, I will play it to death. Excuse that, my batteries keep running out of my camera. So yeah, excuse me. And my phone went off. So yeah, last time we were talking about Call of Duty, the Black Ops. Play that game to death. So briefly, just to tie this up, I experienced, I don't know if I mentioned last time in the video, XCOM Enemy Unknown. So yeah, that's going to be, I mean, I'm going to bring my review for that game anyway. But that type of game, I remember playing the old XCOM on one of my friends' PCs, so I do remember that game. But I'm not a massive fan of strategy, turn-based game like that. But when I sat down and got my hands on XCOM Enemy Unknown, it's one of those games that if it's a boring Sunday, you're bored, blah blah blah, nothing to play, XCOM, sit down and relax. And it controlled very, very well, and I could have sat there and played that game all day. It's a good game. So I'm going to bring my review for that. Bring my review for Dishonored. That game, hands down, is blinding. I'm thoroughly enjoying that game. Thoroughly enjoying it. So I'll bring my review for that game as well. What else do we see? Just to briefly wrap this up before it gets long and boring. My final game was Aliens. Didn't get my hands on it, but they showed off the multiplayer side of things, and you can control an alien, exomorph, I don't know how you say that name, but you can control the aliens, you can control the marines. But I was standing there briefly watching the game, and the deathmatch looked pretty intense, looked pretty fun. So that game looks quite good. So looking forward to that game. Looking forward to the single player, the portion of the game, as much as the multiplayer when it comes out next year. So yeah, I mean, this is just a brief. Well, it's not very brief. It's quite a long video. I didn't mean for this video to be quite as long. So please don't be bored with it. So yeah, I mean, if you do like this video, then please do like, subscribe, and comment down below. So this is just a little video that I was meant to bring a while ago, but I'm bringing it now. So hopefully you enjoyed my game analysation. Just my thoughts, I suppose, on what games I've seen. And till next time, thanks for watching, and peace.